Welcome to the LinkedIn Power Lab webinar. My name is Gunnar. Today we have the 12th of October 2020. The topic for today is engage and follow up with LinkedIn. And I'm very happy to have a large range of professionals here in the call today. We have people from all over my time in Australia and my time in Europe. I'm very happy, extremely happy to have here also Hervé Grand. We started working at HP in my times when I've been in 99 at HP. Hervé, you already have been there. It's fantastic to have you there, and also Florian coming from Switzerland because of a workshop in regards to LinkedIn, where I'm happy to work on that one with you. And also I have from my last role in Logan consultants, experts on crisis and emergency management like Chris and also Matt, and many more here from Australia in the areas of leadership and also social media and IT. So many people really like that. So I would like to show what I prepared for today, engage and follow up with LinkedIn. In terms of housekeeping rules, please ensure that you are muted unless you would like to speak. And let's also use the chat. I have some questions prepared where I would like to get some of the answers from you. It's ideal to put this in the chat, then we can have further discussion about that. So my webinars are normally every first Monday of the month at 7 p.m. Sydney time. We just headed into our daylight time saving, so that's good. But last weekend was Labor Day in New South Wales, therefore we talk today. So let's get started in terms of the content. What I prepared for today. So for those who don't know me yet or didn't know me for quite a while, but didn't talk to me for some time. So my name is Gunnar. I'm a social media consultant. I'm blogging about social selling for 99 weeks in a row every Monday morning. And I also created 2 online courses to the topic of LinkedIn and social selling. Some might know me also as a book author. So in the meantime, it's 21 books. The last one that came out earlier this year was about the Lake Constance, or Bodensee as it's called. So then Florian, you are not too far away from there. So when I'm already said I'm a book author, I'm not the only one here in the call. Some of more who registered are writing books or are about to write books. So that's always nice to see. So here I have Mark McInnes, who wrote a book about lead generation and technical pipeline growth. I run every now and then, I create book reviews like this one to tap into other people on LinkedIn in the sales arena. So that's what I'm doing. For me, social selling and LinkedIn is a big part of my daily life because I'm also working as a full-time partner manager for Hootsuite, and that is social media management platform. But this one here is about sharing what I learned in how to engage properly with LinkedIn. So what I have prepared for today is this topic. I would like to go in 3 areas, and those who are with me on this journey of the webinars a bit for a while, they realize it's typically 3 topics to cover. And most likely these 3 topics, they are starting with the same letter. So first of all, I talk about curiosity, because when we start a conversation, it's not about us, it's about the other person. I cannot write on social media without do proper listening. I cannot write in general without knowing my audience. So the curiosity is a big, big driving force on that one. Second topic is the content, which helps to engage connections. And content is so critical. In that sense, when I talk already content, I'm also happy to have now Joyce Carrera with us, our, let's say, the latest book author that we have, a great book about SEO, which came out just 2 weeks ago. Hi, Joyce, nice to have you there. And then the third topic here is convert, because content drives conversations, and conversations are further converting. That's what we would like to do. That's why we are there on LinkedIn. It's not a job search platform. That's just a side business, in my view. So let's look what I prepared on this one. And we go into curiosity. And when I mentioned, let's please utilize the chat room, then the first question goes directly to you. How often do you engage with your network on LinkedIn? I'm curious what you're writing in the chat. Please let me know. How often you do this? Every day, or maybe not at all, or every now and then? Would like to learn some of the patterns. Yeah, three to four times per week. Stacy, yeah, looks because you are in the content business, which is fine. So what else we have? Once a week, twice a week, once a week, daily. Chris Miller, daily, yes. You have a large network and you have lots of expertise, so that's good. So it goes properly there. I'm happy that nobody says 7 times a day. That's good, because we can also overdo this stuff. So I wrote here, curiosity. Let's look into the term. What does it mean in terms of LinkedIn? Little formula at the beginning, CQ plus PQ is greater than IQ. And I took this from a sentence of Pulitzer Prize winner Thomas Friedman. He said that curiosity and passion are more important than intelligence. You can be the most intelligent person, but if you not have any curiosity and interest in people and a passion for what you do, you will not really bring it further. And that is also critical here when it comes to social media posting. So, and I researched about how social media and curiosity fit together, and you find many articles about that, a better way to win loyal customers. How can I serve a customer when I'm not curious into their success? In my side, I'm working in the software industry. I'm not happy enough when a customer signs. For me, the trigger of success is when the customer is renewing his annual license. Therefore, it's called customer success, the period until then. Creating curiosity posts for your business is a great way to get engagement and promote your products at the same time. You find a lot about curiosity posts. And that does not mean pitching. Curiosity is into the other person or into something. Like here, Steve Jobs learned calligraphy, and that helped him to design the Macintosh quite a while ago. But this interest brought him into that stage. And for me, I share the content in the book. It's called Curiosity is a Driver to Develop Emotional Intelligence. That was a case study I wrote in the book. And I'm very happy to have also Claire Edwards in the call today, because she also contributed to this book. I wrote the article also on medium.com, the blogging platform, and in this book, Leading Well, from the Institute of Managers and Leaders in Sydney. And Claire, you and me, not only that we are visible on some podcasts, but also here in this book. So curiosity means for me, I need to find out what my target audience is thinking about, what they're talking about, what are they up to. So therefore, from a social media management point of view, a social listening solution is critical to find out what they talk about. How can we do this in small business? We can use even Twitter to find out what topics are currently en vogue, what are people talking about. So we can find that out, and that really helps to drive our engagement with our customers. So, but when should we engage actually on LinkedIn? Because there's so many people who go and pitch only about what they're offering. So as I have some colleagues like Florian and Hervé from my time in HP, I'm not interested to see the latest promotion of the best price offer, but it's more about how can the right usage of technology help the customers to achieve an outcome towards digital transformation. You need solutions for that. What's more the outcome, what works, and that way we can build trust and help the clients. So when to engage on LinkedIn, for me, it's 3 areas. First of all, it is when we start with a connection. This connection is so critical that that works properly. I'm not a fan of connecting to thousands of people by simply pressing on the connect button. That doesn't show any curiosity into the other person. It means just I hand my business card to strangers on the street. You never have a second chance to make a first impression. So that's why, in my view, curiosity, empathy, and interest into another person to build a relationship starts with a proper connection. That's the start of a journey. But most likely, by 97% actually, the customer is not ready to buy. What should I do all over the time? What I can do is then nurture them. We can show our genuine individual caring capabilities. That's the best way. We can show that we have certain expertise. And how can we do this? On LinkedIn. Let me give you an example. Last year in September, there was a conference from my former employer, Noggin, and I wanted to fill 3 seats of a panel discussion. And I thought, how would I choose the right 3 people who have good content to contribute in that way? I've been looking for consultants. And then I put out a post with an enticing question. And I thought about who might be able to provide a good answer, to qualify themselves for that. And I'm very happy that Matt Harper, that you're in today, because you've been one of them, provide great content, get the idea of my post further. People saw that, and that's why you have been sitting on that particular chair and talked about your story. That's what it can really lead to, starting with a comment. So then we connect well, we nurture, and then it's all about the transformation. And that for me is also an important topic, because from overcoming problems to achieving a state of comfort, from pain to gain, that is what it can be all about. And that for me is a very important topic. So we have some more joining. So that should be Jonathan joining. Hey, hello, that's good that you are there. So that's fine. So these are the 3 areas. 97% the customer is not buying, but that is the time when we can nurture with them, when we can build a relationship, when we can use content to drive the engagement. And then when we drive this with our content, it can happen that more people become curious into what you're doing. And how can we see this in the best way? We look who viewed our profile. And that only works if we have the premium version of LinkedIn, not the free version, where then you would only see the last 5 people. But here was an approach. I've done that last year in end of November. I had an increase because I tapped into another area of content of cybersecurity, and that was good. So you see that more and more people have been viewing my profile and the content that I shared. So from an average of around 80 per week, it went up to 200. That was good. Really like that. But it's just a number. The engagement with those people, that makes sense. I can see who they are. I can connect with them if I want, but I can even have proper discussion with them. So this is a good trigger who viewed the profile, and it's available. But it has to do with content. And that comes to another question. How often do you share content and when? When means when per day, when during the day. What is the best timing that you are using to share content? Looking forward to what you're writing in the chat. So how often you share content? 10 a.m. Tuesday morning, Matt, good one. Interesting, because it all depends when your target audience is there. So Joyce, twice per month. I know that your LinkedIn view, but your Facebook view is of course much higher. You have a great own Facebook group where you share all about SEO and content marketing, so it's a good one. Hervé, you are sharing on Saturday morning. Chris Miller daily. Interesting, so different type of answers. And Bell, if it's interesting to use the premium version, yes, in particular to know who is engaging with your content. And it's free for 30 days, for the first 30 days. So Hervé, you wrote about Saturday. I think this is the case because that's when you have the time to find good content. The only question is your audience then ready to consume that content? And the answers can be actually even yes, they are on their smartphones, but they might not be in the mood for that. To give an example, Chris Miller and Matt, you remember that I've been working with Deloitte, and the safety risk manager, he shared 5 times, typically on a Saturday, because that's when he has content. But his audience is not in the mood. They might be at the barbecue. They have other interests over them. So therefore, I suggested him, please use a scheduling tool. The content is great, but the timing was wrong. So sometimes I took what he shared and shared it then at a Tuesday at 7:30 to 8:30 a.m. You might also observe one thing. The time when you shared content what worked until March is now totally different. Many people, maybe many of us here on the call, are not necessarily going to the office physically. So then the typical commute time, which is so good for those in public transport to engage and use LinkedIn, that is now totally gone. In the past, it was okay and actually good to post around 5 p.m. People would see this and would react on it on their way home. But today, when people are working from home, around 5 or 6, they have enough from digital screens. They don't want that anymore. So then in my observation, this afternoon is weaker than it has been beforehand. It makes a difference. So therefore, for me, the typical times when I'm posting content, when it works quite well, is in the morning, early morning, 7:30 to 8:30. The second one is in the afternoon, but earlier in the afternoon, rather 4:30 to 5:30, not too late, and also lunchtime. And people then are in the mood of going into notifications or something like that. Friday afternoon is totally off. It worked well last year, but it's totally off. But it really depends also when your audience is on the platform and in the right mood, and which platform it is. Facebook might work quite well in the evening when the kids are in bed, but not necessarily during dinner time. You need to know your audience. You need to have curiosity. You can even ask them. That's the interesting thing on it. Well, you asked, what about Friday morning for LinkedIn? It's a good one. For me, it works well. Thursday, Friday mornings is working very well. Tuesday, maybe one of the best days. I never post on LinkedIn on Saturdays. And I like to share completely different things on a Sunday evening. More the area of personal development, learning capabilities, something like that. What brings us further. That's a good one on Sunday to start the week. So that's one way. Everyone might be a little bit different to this, but pay attention. It changed in the pandemic and it might not return to what we've had there. And this is valid for everything what you're sharing. But when you put it out and you don't hit the right time, then the content will not be visible. And I've done a test. A typical post of a book review, I shared normally on a Friday morning, 7:30. And I've done the same one just for the test. I shared it before midnight. The engagement is so low because the next morning, people had so many different posts in their feed. So simply it's been too long ago. The first 2 hours after posting, they count. The more engagement is there, the better I add hashtags. Those hashtags which people are following, not those who express a feeling. It's not Instagram. So this all matters. So let's go into the topic of content. So content leads to conversation. And for me, there are 3 steps of regular activities that we can use well. First of all, totally underutilized is the question of commenting. That's how I found my voice, my professional voice in Australia, to comment. That's how I always like when experts, thought leaders are also adding their comments on that. So here we have Frank, we have Wayne, with all of their dialogue, what was going on. Really enjoyed that. And Chris and Matthew also good examples for that. After commenting, the second one is curating content. Find something somewhere and share this. The worst thing you can do is to simply take it and share. The best thing is that you add enticing lines showcasing why you believe that your audience should actually work with that piece of content. So here, this example, I shared a piece of content which is on LinkedIn, not leading out of that. So it was good. I got some nice number of views, so it was okay. But the number of views is just a vanity metric. The likes are a better indicator, and the comments. In the comments, you find gold, and that is important. One day I had, after an event in Brisbane last year in March, I had one sales rep, I had one consultant who wrote, after a piece of content that I shared, he said, Gunnar, can you please connect me with your Queensland sales rep? I have a customer who needs your solution. He simply felt free to add this into the comment. Perfect. And he has not even been a first-rate connection. So creating content means for me, and you can see in this example, I start with a question. Then you see these two words, see more. The task of the first lines is that the readers want to press see more what's in there. So therefore it should be in a good way that people want to do this. The third one is creating own content. So here I'm a big fan of utilizing images, ideally of real people in a real life scenario, no stock images if ever possible, and not too perfect images of people. But this was a good one. That is with Sydney of Sydney, so his real name is Sydney. And we met on George Street in Sydney, and we talked about things which then has been very relevant to the post that I've had there. And again, you can see I use 2 lines, not 3 lines, so that there's enough white space and people can see more. That's an important thing. Also some nice engagement on that. Comment, correct, create are for me the 3 important things, how to work with content. And just by accident, they all start with the same letter. So that is maybe a typical Gunnar one. In the meantime, I'm happy to also welcome another guest, so Carl from Advantage Austria. Hi, Carl. Servus. So this was how content can lead to conversations, and let's go into the next step. Creating LinkedIn posts to entice engagement. We want that people do something with our post, not just to have it posted. So the time is critical, we talked about that. The frequency is critical as well. There are people who are posting 7 times per day, but the algorithm realized, oh, that's a bit like a spammer, and is not really going everywhere with the content, but rather takes it down. So there are people who are posting 7, 8, 10 times a day, and I don't see the content anymore. Not a single one of them. So in my view, twice per day is the maximum. No need to post too much. Because what does it lead to? We only see, hey, stop, don't post too much. I don't have time to read everything. We can overdo it. That makes no sense. So if you write on LinkedIn, a typical post, 1300 characters, max 200 words, like this, add pictures and add the text. This typical size of the full post that you can have on LinkedIn fits on an iPhone 10 screen very nicely. And for me, it's something like 15 minutes to write that, not more. Using hashtags, and you can see I use the hashtags in the middle, not only at the end. Sometimes I use hashtags to make a word bold and blue, like here in the second paragraph, the sentence where I say, and who are not yet active on LinkedIn daily. I could have simply kept the word LinkedIn normally, but it looks better. The first 3 hashtags count. Not more than 3. We can have up to 5, it's okay. Too many make no sense. But the first 3, and even the order of them count, that it spreads further. And in that regard, a hashtag on LinkedIn should ideally be something that people are looking for, that they are following, that has a huge number of followers. You can search this in the search bar, type in a hashtag like social media, and you have millions of people. If you choose the wrong hashtag, it doesn't help you. It doesn't hurt, but doesn't help. Add images. The only thing, if you add the images, you cannot change them. You cannot delete some, you cannot add some. You cannot change the order. So it's a bit playing with this, as you can see here. That has been my favorite image from my first social selling meetup last year in May, with some 80 people. Not all of them fit into the picture. So then play it a little bit so that it works well. And Graham, you're in the call. Now you see yourself on the picture at the bottom left. That's a good one. So closing with a question or a call to action or anything that is enticing the readers to do something with the post. What I then also do, I keep the URL of the post so that I can later see how the engagement works, that I can also take again and do a copy and paste of it or repost it again. So that also makes sense. Yeah, Matthew, you just wrote there's a slight way to play with the image. So then if you can take this offline, you share something with me, happy to promote it. And Belle, you asked, how do you put the 3 photographs into an image for LinkedIn? So these 4 pictures on this here, when I add images, I've done it actually on my iPhone, then I simply press, instead of only marking 1, I pressed 4 pictures at the same time before I pressed on inserting them. It was more or less linked into the site on the order. It was a little bit playing around which one I tap first, and then it worked well. And you can see quite nice engagement of 60 comments. So, interesting question is, should we actually use images at all? And prolific writers, they write posts without images and get massive engagement if they can write it well. So that's an important topic as well. So you can have with or without images, you can have videos, ideally a native video that you can upload directly into the LinkedIn post. Alternatively, of course, you can use a video which is sitting on YouTube, Vimeo, or wherever, but it's much better if you use upload it natively, and you can even add a caption file so that people can also read, because more than 80% of people using LinkedIn without the sound switched on. So newer content formats, how else we can have engaging alternatives? So let's look into some of them. First of all, you can upload a document. So I've done it for the first time about 1.5 years ago when I talked about how to use social media for book authors. And it was 10 slides, and that got me a couple of thousand views and a lot of engagement. LinkedIn likes to upload a PDF natively into the post instead of leaving it to somewhere. That's perfect. So I've done it recently again. I spoke at a conference about financial advisors, and I took then the social media part of that. I shared 12 slides on it, and that got quite nice engagement. So the views were 19,200, so not to brag about it, but it was so much more than a normal post. So therefore, I really suggest try this. Pay attention that the text is not too small. So what you see here is maybe even too small on a smartphone screen, but try that. It's really nice. Highly engaging. Don't do it every day, but maybe once per month, if you have something really nice to share, it's a good way to add a visual topic. And Trevor, you asked PowerPoint version or PDF. Please use the PDF version, because that can be a little bit thinner. If the PDF is, or if you feel the PDF file is too large in terms of megabyte, you can go to a service like ilovepdf.com to compress this. File size max, actually I'm not so sure. I added something up to 10 megabyte that worked, but wherever possible, I use ilovepdf.com to compress that. That also is valid for the slides of the presentation today, which I will put on my website, linkedinpowerlab.com, that you only need to download maybe 2-3 megabyte and not 20, as was this original file. So Matthew wrote, your best engaged image was a result of using PowerPoint and manipulating the image on a slide. Talk about this, because what you've been working on the alt text, that's quite detailed. But that's an interesting one as well. So it's a good one. Thanks, Matt. So I like a consultant has always a willingness and desire to help and contribute. Second topic on this slide are polls. So that came earlier this year, and it's interesting to learn from the audience. If you simply ask something, and here's one example, what's your #1 content preference on LinkedIn? Video, text post, article, and so on. 510 votes, nice number, was not me. And apparently here text posts have been quite high. And there was a LinkedIn coach, and she wrote a little bit against videos, because videos have been all over the place 1 or 2 years ago, and that's not necessarily a good thing. So therefore, if you only put on videos, then you risk the fact that people are not doing too much with that, and particularly when you cannot have the sound on, then the video can be quite negative. And even more, many videos on LinkedIn, when it was new 2 years ago, they have been created in a car. I don't like that. It looks, the person doesn't take time to speak in front of the audience and take proper place for that. That is not necessarily good. But anyway, polls is a nice way. Don't overuse this, but maybe once per month, that's a good way. And to give an example, Chris Miller, you potentially would like to put a post in regards to your business continuity expertise, in particular these days, where you realize that many companies don't have proper business continuity plans, because it always was, oh, we need to do it one day type of topic. In the meantime, reality shows that we actually need that. So these are polls. And then LinkedIn stories. That is something where I must say, Florian and Hervé in Switzerland, I think you don't have it yet. Australia as a test market, we got them 2 months ago. For me, these stories look a bit like, on purpose, like Instagram and Facebook. It's a copy me function. For me, it is a loss of real estate in the on the app. But anyway, some people are using this to put out something. For me, a post is anyway quite short-living. So then the story even has only 20 hours, which is not that long to live there, similar to Facebook, Instagram. Now the US got it fresh in October. So let's see how that goes in the world. I don't see too much engagement of this, but it's a way to get a bit of engagement, because that's what we are talking about. So getting further, that is all about content. How do I ensure that people see my content? Because only when they see it, we can engage on it. Like a typical dialogue, they need to start with something. And very often the right people don't see the post. And that was something what I also heard in these webinars from some of the audience, from Bell. You wrote this, one of the last 2 webinars, that you don't understand why people who used to see your content don't see it anymore. And the algorithm is not always so well known how it works. But if, for example, I start to engage with someone on LinkedIn for a while, then after time, other people are coming into my network. So then the algorithm gives me then content from the others, because I already know those from before. So how to overcome this? For me, if I don't do anything, then missing engagement prevents spreading further. So then you would have nice posts, but nothing is coming from there. Here I've done a good post, I thought, but it doesn't lead to anything, not even any comment. The wrong timing, we talk. Missing hashtags is an issue. Spray and pray doesn't target the right audience. If we target everyone, we reach no one. So therefore, what's the solution? We can add some people in there. So what we also can do, we can add a link towards a post later. Write the post the post, edit it, and enter something inside. Many people are tagging people in the post itself, but then you are missing lines that you can use for something better. The alternative is you add the picture, and inside the picture you can add people. I'm sure you have seen this if you wonder why you get notification of a post where you are included in the picture, but you're not on that. So that exists as well. It's quite funny sometimes. So here I've done that. I wrote then a comment on a post, and then I added, it's a little bit of a question. My fellow book writers in my network, have a look at my latest review, curious on your view. And that's the way how then some of those started to see this and to comment it, like Stephen Norman, who also wrote a sales book earlier this year. So then I had him there as well. He then commented on it. So that's nice. So this group of book authors where I wrote book reviews is actually increasing, enjoys, one day you are the next one. That's good. Now, what's the benefit? Concrete people receive an enticing trigger that they can do something with that. But you need to ensure why. You need to ensure that they also want to do this. And going back to the example from last year in September for the conference of Noggin, when I then somehow encouraged consultants like Matt Harper to comment on it. Of course, Matt, I gave you a stage. You could then put out your expertise. So I need to think about why someone wants to comment. What's in it for them? So that's what I need to do. And also critical, do it in the first hours. That helps to spread it further. So when we do this, then we can convert. And conversion is what we're all about. So I said content is leading to conversations, and the conversation need to convert further, but into what? And the question to you in the chat, how do you convert your content, if at all? What is coming from that? I don't mean how much did you sell from a piece of content, but what type of is it? Right. Having been on the end of a Gunnar hook, you almost have to respond. Thanks, mate. Really like that. It's a good one. So how do you convert your content? Does it bring you people getting into your tribe, or does it get you anything else? Like you post something that maybe Joyce, in your example, I know that from the Facebook where you have done that you had then people who are buying your book actually, and you made it into the #1 on Amazon. Congrats for that one. So there are ways how you can convert your content, but I don't see many answers. So that means that is still a little bit open. So what do we need to do to convert? Of course, it requires a lot of discipline. Trevor, you say you engage with people who comment and are not necessarily your first level contacts. Correct. And Claire, thank you. That's why we're here. Yes, I know. So let me let me talk about that. So what do we need to do to convert? For me, the tricky thing is LinkedIn, like any social media, has so much in the feed, so much distraction. It's like reading a newspaper, which is not really our big interest. So we need to ensure that we get rid of the distraction from the feed, have a cadence on the daily tasks on it, and think about connect and content and convert. So have a focus on that. I hope you're not hanging on your inbox on email every day, every time in the day. But maybe you have blocks of this one when you do something big, and then you do all the operational stuff on emails, and then you tackle one problem, and so on. You can do the same on LinkedIn. Not be always on. But then when you can see what's really critical, you post in the morning, have a look what happened over lunchtime. Have a look what happens in the afternoon or evening, and then engage and comment on that. Put it into a focus. And then follow up. Post and forget doesn't work. So at least if someone is commenting, be so kind to them and respond within 24 hours later. Connect and engage. Particularly, Trevor, as you mentioned, you like to engage with those who are not your first level contacts yet. So this means two things. You need to have good networkers in your content, that they see this, maybe they like it, and therefore others see this, which are only your second grade. And then you see that and you connect with them in a good way, with a hook. Thanks for liking my post today. Thanks for commenting on my post about whatever. And then fulfill. Fulfill in the sense of the conversion is not necessarily to sell, but understand their problems, offer suitable solutions, and then help them from pain to gain. So that for me is what really counts. So follow up quickly. For me, the time matters here. It's nice when you post content. It's nice when you get responses from them. But you, of course, don't sit on it only. It's not the only thing you do in a day. But when you don't follow up and don't have a checkpoint on that, then it's just a collection of comments and nobody will see that. Chance over. So how to do this? Schedule dedicated time at the end of the day and comment on the post. And please see the pattern. On these images on the right-hand side, you see a comment from Danica and my comment on her comment. Then you see a comment from Uri and a comment of mine on that one. Same on the other one. Tom wrote, somebody replied, Heidi replied, Tom replied, a dialogue in between. And so I always pay attention that at the end of the day, when I have a nice engaging post, that there is a commenter and my answer, commenter and my answer. And sometimes I take it then further into a direct conversation. That's good. That's how that should work. Or you can see as well, I tagged some others in there. That's how it should work. That shows you also as active and you are responsive. You can basically prove you take comments, you take feedback honest. Yeah, also Bell, you asked about follow-up, particularly if someone engaged with you from someone else's post, that you can do as well. So take this as an example. On the left-hand side, Tom wrote a comment on my post. It was a couple of weeks ago. And then Heidi wrote, and then Tom wrote. I suggest that Tom and Heidi, maybe they know each other. I know they know each other, but in case not, then my view would be, hey, I can actually connect those two. Hey, you wrote something on it. I think you should talk to each other. That would be a great service to them. So then you can also jump in there that you would comment on someone else's post and say, hey, that is quite good. It's nice, but do this with focus. And now how else can we follow up? Of course, we can have a direct message. But where would this direct message land? If you send an email, that's not so easy because the email inboxes are full. There are people who have more than one email. Their smartphone might have a dozen of email addresses, so it's hard to find that out. So here's an example. This is my Sales Navigator inbox. Oh, sorry, my regular inbox of LinkedIn. Sales Navigator has a separate one. And there are a couple of people writing. The only thing you can mark is the question if the message is read or unread. You cannot put, like in Gmail, some kind of colors or tags or something, unfortunately. So how can we disrupt that? That's always an issue. And when we don't do it, we cannot really find it anymore. And then I would not realize that there was something from Rian, there was something from Viola, and totally missed that. It's a pity, but there is a way. And by the way, Hervé, not sure if you remember, Alex also has been at HP back then in our time. So he's now in AMD. So what is the solution? Two of them actually. What you can do. You can use voicemails in LinkedIn. On the app, not on the desktop, on the app, iPhone and Android, you have this field to write a message. On the right-hand side is the microphone icon. You have the chance for 60 seconds to leave a message that then lands in their inbox as a blue bar with a play button. Very nice. For example, when I create my book reviews, I ask the authors 7 questions. If they don't have time or focus or effort to answer everything in a written form, it doesn't matter. I said, please leave me a voicemail, and then I can listen to this, can type it, can reflect on it, and have it in writing. And I send it to them just for sign off. That's one way of thing. So you can use voicemail. It's good. It's like telephone. But you can go further and record a video message. So the blue bar, the 4 seconds here is a voicemail, and then you do the video. So if you press not the microphone icon, but the plus icon, then 8 buttons are coming. Attachment, photos, camera, and so on, and use then the video. And when you do this, then you have basically the picture of that. So that's me sitting exactly where I'm now, and that shows exactly that. It shows the video. 5 seconds in that example, but can be longer. A video message is the best way to simulate how it is to work with you, particularly when you don't know the person, when it's your prospect and not your client. That's going quite nicely. Who's using this actually? Any of you using video messages? Or have seen that? I'm curious. somebody's typing something in there. I like it a lot, but I don't use it too often, only every now and then, because with the Swiss way of perfectionism, I always think about maybe the light is not good, and I'm too much shaking with my phone, not professional enough. So that's always my issue. But there are ways that you can overcome that. You can take something like maybe I have here. I'm not sure if you can see it in that way. A little bit of a stand for my iPhone. Put it on the desk. Have the iPhone there, and then I can do a little bit of a message. So it's good to disrupt inboxes, get the point across in sticky way, and then show you as a person simulating real life meetings, particularly in the pandemics when we cannot do it too often. So that's one way to handle that. As you can see, what I showed so far on curiosity, on content, and also on the follow-up, it's all about being relevant to them. We can engage with our audience if we make everything about the audience and not about us. It is just a side effect that at the end we can sell because we help someone. And we can only help someone if we are curious into what they're doing, if we can show this. Yeah, for example, here's a nice one. Bell, you wrote, I have a person who wishes to connect with whom might have missed. So I will leave a voicemail message. That's a good one. Matt, you have done some as well. You thought it's a virus. That's also a nice one. And Stacy, you get some. So that's nice. Try it. Try it. It's a nice one. Don't do too long, but it's a good approach. So I hope that was helpful with some ideas how you can engage and follow up and ensure that you can get the conversation ongoing, because in 97% of cases, the prospective customer is not yet ready to buy. It's not a question of price, it's not a question of need, but the timing is simply not right. So then we can use LinkedIn very well to make that happen. So which are the next steps possible? So what I'm doing here, and that I hope you see I have a certain passion for LinkedIn and for social selling activities. So what I'm doing, I prepared some items how actually I can help. Therefore, I'm writing about social selling for 99 weeks in a row. Next Monday will be episode number 100. So how can I help? So number one, a LinkedIn discovery call. I get questions from my audience to find out how I can help them. And those questions can be even across two oceans. So like Hervé, when we talked about on Friday, my evening, that was really nice to uncover that there are ways how I can help my friends from HP in Switzerland. And that's a good one. So that's the way how we can schedule this. I will send the link in the slides. The second one, I'm helping professionals with their LinkedIn profile to turn them from a CV style into a storytelling approach, because it makes a big difference. If you reach out to someone who you don't know, you might be the best professional, but if your profile doesn't look proper, it doesn't reflect what you would like them to get across, then you can forget about that. So it needs to be there. So I can put some advisory there, or even I can completely write that. And then I have a membership program, which is an online course, and that adds also accountability on and activities on that, because I like to bring my audience onto a journey. And that LinkedIn is not done just in a week or so. You need to have certain activities in place to ensure that it's following up. So that's the way how you can join this one. So I call this program Organic LinkedIn Habits, which, as you can guess, is a play with my last name. And I normally focus this on small businesses. Hervé and Florian buy the price. This means Australian dollars, which is about 70 Stutz or 70 Swiss francs, something like that. So then it comes in, there's an online course part of it, which is the access level with 4 modules and 12 lessons. There I have an accountability group, which is a closed LinkedIn group for those members. And also I have an action topic, which is my coaching. I do coaching calls on the 3rd Monday next week, which is much more interactive. It's less a presentation as today. And I have an Ask Me Anything call, which is basically my office hours, and even a monthly content award. So again, 3 times the same letter. So that's my program, Organic LinkedIn Habits. I strongly believe in an organic approach and not in automation. because people are not automated. People would like to talk to people. So the course itself covers 4 topics, as you can guess. We talked about content, we talked about connect a little bit, about convert, but also it's a challenge, why you should do this and how you can get started. That's always part of that one. And how to get started, here's my membership program. The good thing is the middle one, which also includes 1 hour per month on the one-on-one where I can really help you. It's there. It's actually, it's only $100 per month more. It's quite cheap, so to say. So then in the meantime, next year I need to increase the price for that one. And the profile refresh. And the interesting thing, I had recently one lady, Shirley, she's has an order of Australia. She is already in the retirement age and wanted to have her LinkedIn profile and activities improve because she's a well-known speaker on various occasions in the not-for-profit sector. So I'm happy to work with those who really would like to take LinkedIn to the next level. So, and also for those which are part of my Facebook group, Organic LinkedIn Community, happy to have you there. And I would like to take this further and would like to open the floor in terms of write something more in the chat how I can help you. And I hope the session was helpful. Let me know. I can even unmute if you want. So let's see if there's any feedback from anyone.
Thank you very much, Gunnar. Very helpful.
Thank you. Thank you for this. Thanks. I will make the slides available on linkedinpowerlab.com, and also the recording will be sent to you by email today, tomorrow morning, basically 12 hours after starting. So who else? Ah, by the way, there's one interesting thing. We have now in Australia, in Sydney at least, and in Melbourne, we have now the daylight time saving, but not in Queensland. So welcome, Maureen. Nice to have you there. Should have told you that it's already 1 hour earlier, but I sent you the recording straight away. It was 7 p.m. Sydney time, not Gold Coast time.
Oh no! Oh. Oops.
Like that. But anyway, I can debrief you. No problem. We talk tomorrow anyway. We have our catch up already scheduled, so that's fine. So thanks, particularly for those guests from far away, my good friend Hervé Grand and also Florian from Switzerland. Really like to have you there. And also Michael, nice to have you there from not too far away, but really like that. Thanks everyone for joining, also from New Zealand, from France, and from all over New South Wales. Thanks everyone. Looking forward to seeing the engagement about the content, what I've done today. Looking forward to get your feedback. Thank you, everyone, for being here.
Thanks, Gunnar. Talk to you soon. Bye-bye.
Yes, monsieur. Merci beaucoup. Au revoir.
Hey, we're going to catch you later, and thanks.
Thank you, Chris, also for being there as the first one to join. That was good. And Michelle, nice to have you there as well. You also joined rather later, so you will get the recording and the slides, of course. Thanks for Maureen, you also joined a bit later. Anyway, thank you all.
Thank you, Gunnar. Bye-bye.
Yeah, Maureen, I'll call you anyway in a couple of minutes.
Yep.
All good, all good.
Thank you, Gunnar.
Thanks, Belle. Thanks also for your contribution in the chat. Really appreciate all your comments. That was nice.
Welcome. It was very good, very interesting.